Good evening. Good Wednesday evening, August 15th, 2018. This is Janice Parks, J Parks Consultant, Business Solutions Coach, Empowerment Speaker, and Author. As promised, I'm out at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, ladies, and I'm coming back with the continuation of part 2, Time to Unpack. And I hope you all are doing well this evening. I am absolutely doing well. That is my confession, and it should be yours as well. So, I want to get right to things. Hope your day has been productive. I hope that it's been peaceful. I hope that you have been able to grasp the ability to command your day. Okay? So, what I've been previously talking about, and come on in. It's about 8:02, and I know you all are getting settled in. Maybe some of you have children that you're trying to get to bed or finish up homework. You single ladies, you don't have an excuse. You ought to be right on time because with your organized selves, I know you're organized, and you need to know about what we're talking about this evening. Time to unpack. And this has been part of two series that I've been doing concerning unpacking situations in your life and how to have the ability to know when to unpack things, when to say no, when to step back a little bit, when to go, take some time off from whatever it is that your busy schedule has. Some of you are so driven. You're like me. You're driven women, you're business women, you're entrepreneurial women. You have lots of things going on. You have lots of scheduling issues, that you have to work out. However, I'm going to deal with some things this evening. I'm not going to be on here very long because I am a true believer that once you get to a point of a thing, and really simplify it, go through it and simplify it, a child can understand it. So I'm not a complicated, shall I say, teacher. I like to get to the realness of a thing and get to the point and get on up out of here, okay? So listen, this is J Parks Consultant, Coach, Empowerment Speaker, and Author. And I just like to say to you all, happy Wednesday. Hope your evening is going well and hope you had a wonderful day. I'm going to do a little review, over the last couple of series. Come on in. I hope that you share this because I believe that this is something that a lot of us need to hear. And I'm going to review a little bit. I'm talking about unpacking. And what I did, I went to Webster's and pulled up a couple of definitions about unpacking. Looks like I'm kind of at an angle here. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get so that I'm looking a little bit better with myself. Okay, so I'm hoping I'm not at an angle with you all. So let me do some adjustment to this camera. Maybe that might not be too good. Excuse me, and I'm trying to sneeze at the same time. Now, Okay, so the other day when I came out originally, I talked about unpacking and what that meant. And I, chose a couple of definitions. I wasn't sneezing before now. So we're not going to go through this evening. I'm going to get this out. So we talked about unpacking and what that means from the Webster's point of view. And I loved a couple of these definitions because I thought it was very appropriate for where I was coming from when I'm talking about unpacking, time to unpack. I have been going through a series of very intense scheduling of my time the last few months. And just recently we had some very family-orientated loss. How many of you know that, sometimes you just have to take time to regroup, regrasp, and unpack some things, you know. So the definitions that I really was really tuned in, number one, to analyze the nature of a thing by examining it in detail. I really love that. And the other one was to unburden, you know, to reveal, to remove. And there was another one, to remove the contents of. Those are three very great ones. Clear, empty, evacuate, vacate, void. And that could be a number of different things. I could go a number of different ways talking about that, because a lot of us need to vacate and void some folks in our lives. Not that you don't love them, but there are some people that you really need to just let go. I'm going to say that again, just let go. I'm talking about unpacking your life tonight. I'm talking about, you know, on many levels. And let me say this, excuse me, I didn't get to this point overnight, and neither will you. However, the sooner that you start understanding the mindset behind it, and I want to talk to you ladies who have young girls, okay? The sooner, first of all, the sooner you start operating in some of these key tips, suggested tips that I'm going to be giving you. And these are suggested tips. I am not quote unquote a clinician, although I have worked clinical psychology. I've taken psychology. I've worked psychology a little bit in my medical, you know, career. However, I'm not that person. You know, however, I've lived this, and I've been engaged in a lot of different types of medical clinical situations where I had to learn how to deal with certain types of people and their psychological origins, if you will, including my own. Including my own, okay? So this is coming from experience over years, 30 some years, with dealing with different types of medical clinical situations, being on site in certain areas, and just really, excuse me, I'm so sorry, dealing with things in my own personal life as well, and just a combination of experience, education, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment. How about that? So some of the key tips that I'm going to be talking about tonight are really going to be centered around the fact that we as women and young girls, we don't get this type of teaching when we should. I really believe that those of us, and I know a lot of us have not had it ourselves, but however, that's why I'm on the scene, okay, and others, because we've been mandated to teach certain things that no one else does. So when I talk about starting young, I'm talking about 8 years old, 5 years old with your young girls. And it's all about how they think about themselves and how they put together how they need to appropriate their things in their lives. Even just simply knowing how to pick up their toys, put them away in a certain spot. And it's okay. Children are going to be messy. It's okay. I'm going to deal with that perfectionist syndrome as well. Don't want to get ahead of myself. You know, and hey, let me tell you, I lay around in my jammies and my sweats, and sometimes I don't want to pick up this, and sometimes I don't want to pick up that, but eventually I do, because I'm, you know, I just can't stay that way, you know. But we need to teach our young girls at an early age what it means to be, number one, organized in their thinking, critical thinking, and strategic planning. And it's not that you have to be on it all the time, but however, there has to be a time when they understand that, wait, there is a process, there is a principle and a procedure to go through, that, you know, that I'm going to be able to situate and position myself that as I get older, I don't have to deal with that foolishness. You understand what I'm saying? You know, simple things. Start with the simple things, you know, at age appropriate, you know, and then work up to closets, room, cleanliness, body cleanliness, awareness, you know, keeping a check on yourself, making sure all your levels are good. I'm talking about, and I'm talking about from your spiritual to your physical, from the inside out. Get your checkups, get your female checkups, check your thyroid levels, okay? Listen to me. I'm not speaking to you from I think I know. I'm speaking to you from I have lived it. I have experienced it. I am experiencing it. Okay? Get your little girls, get them together. And your young men as well. Okay? They're not exempt. There's a different approach, but yet and still there's still a process and a principle that they need to follow. And once you get them in a routine of doing certain things a certain way, they don't forget it. When they get older, they may go astray a little bit, but they'll come back to it. I just can't leave my house any kind of way when I go away. When I go on vacation, my husband and I, we leave a home. When we come back, we don't have no laundry to do. If we can do the laundry while we're away, we will. Okay? But when we come back to a clean kitchen, a clean bedroom, bathroom. You understand what I'm saying? That just cuts down stress in your life. You have to find ways to cut the stress, okay? So if you start teaching your children young, they don't have to deal with this foolishness. So when they get in a position where they're going to be going to college or whatever they're going to be doing, they've already got it. They know what to do. They already know how to do it, when to do it, and when not to do it. They also have some disciplines, some mental disciplines, some physical disciplines, okay? Some dietary disciplines. They need to, and you all need to, and I'm telling you this, and I'm somebody that's working on this. It's a process. Get out and walk, whatever you need to do, and take these children with you. They need to learn at an early age that you do not sit down. You keep moving. I don't care if you live to be 185 years old. You got to do some kind of moving. Y'all don't want to hear that, but that's okay. I'm going to hit it and I'm going to be out of here. You can believe it tonight. So anyway, start them young. And start them thinking in a certain way. And if you don't have the ability, then y'all need to go to the Y or wherever you need to go to learn these different things, or get a hold of somebody that you can have a class with and do it as a family. Okay? Do it as a family. And then, all these different things come together. You learn how to save money, how not to overspend, to be within a budget. All these things add to your stress when you then when you get to the end of the month, I don't have enough money. Well, what have you done during that 30-day period? Okay? So you teach them young how to balance a bank book. You teach them young what it means to manage a household. You teach them young how to help you. Empty the trash on a certain day. Know how to do laundry. Know what not to do with laundry. Wash those dishes, put them in the dish, or whatever you're going to do, pick up behind themselves, take the dog out, clean up behind the dog. These are routine things. Okay, so, all right. So we talked about what unpack means via Webster. And if you're just tuning in, I'm talking about time to unpack, how we need to unpack some things in our lives so that we are able to actually operate in the assignments that we have and operate in the destiny and the purpose of life and not be stressed out. Okay, so there's 4 key things I want to talk about this evening, and I'm going to be out of here because I'm going to unpack. And these are key suggested tips, and I'll get a little housekeeping out of the way. I'm promoting, I'm in the process of writing another book. It's a business book. However, I've actually got 2 books in the works. But Daughters of Zion Arise. Can you see that? I have a little poster in the back. I don't know if you can see that as well. I take that when I travel and I put it up on the easel. Yeah. So this is, let me get it straight. Daughters of Zion Arise. Get the light just right. Let's see. There we go. I'll turn it this way. There we go. There's a little bit of a glare. This is about 12 women. This is a biblical book come from biblical research about 12 women that God used in their different dispensations that lined up with his plan and purpose, for the things that he wanted to get accomplished during these dispensations that these women lived in. They were highly purposed, highly used, and highly favored. This book will encourage you in whatever area you're dealing with, whether you're 9 to 99, if you're starting a business, whatever the case may be. I'm trying not to get it in a glare. You can go out on the Women of Destiny, Daughters of Zion page out on Facebook, or you can also order it even more direct through PayPal, $12. Just go to PayPal, J Parks Consultant, Empowerment Speaker, and put in all the information and put Daughters of Zion, and I'll get it to you. Address, email, telephone number. Okay. So the other thing is, for you leaders, executive women who are entrepreneurs and leaders, I have in my Live, Learn, and Illuminate series, the Lioness Principles. This particular coaching is for high-level executive women who are entrepreneurs in leadership and want to expand their thinking about how they approach, how they do business. The Lioness Principles. And I have, it's in a 3-hour interval when you sign up. And it's very dynamic. I do an assessment of you, where you are in your business, what you want to accomplish. And we go from there in the principles that I've set up. Okay, and it's 23 hours of intense executive leadership training and coaching. And each aspect of it specializes your particular situation. So go out to VCITA, J Parks Consultant, and sign up. And we can get together and make it work. Okay. So 4 key suggestive tips, and I'm talking about time to unpack tonight. Number 1, give yourself permission. Okay? I mean, really, give yourself permission to just let it go. Okay? Now, for you driven women like me, and you have a lot of different things that you're doing, you have an assignment in certain specific areas, you're going to have to learn how to schedule yourself. Listen, this is very important. Listen up. When you get, now I'm going to start from the end of the spectrum and work back to my 8-year-olds. When you get to where I am and older, and even those that are even more advanced in their careers, in their positions, in their CEO-ness, your chief operating executive officer, even the more, you don't have to try as hard. A lot of us have been doing certain things through life where you have actually sowed seeds of purpose for 20, 30, 40 years, and now you're reaping the benefits of that, but you're still in that driven mode. It's kind of hard to get out of that. However, I'm telling you, unpack. You don't have to try so hard. Just let it, just flow with it. And you don't have to always be on the go. You don't have to always be at this networking event or that. I choose and pick and choose where I want to be according to my purpose and destiny. You need to write that down. Okay, so give yourself permission to unpack. Access where you need to start. Be realistic. Be realistic, with yourself and with others. And number 4, learn how to say no to yourself, number 1. No, I can't do that. No. If I do that, that's going to put me in overload. No, that means I'm going to have to, no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. Nope, can't do that. Say no to yourself and to others. If you're married, No, it's not a bad word to hubby sometimes. No, honey, I can't go. We can't go there. This is my schedule. You don't always have to say no, but and then you have to prioritize what's really important, not just to yourself, but to the both of you as it relates to your family. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then say no to your children. Ooh, that's a big one. To other relatives, friends, and colleagues. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about, you know, let's talk a little bit about the young women. Uh, you ladies that are single, and you're not living at home anymore, you're on your own. And even if you are, I've already talked about how we can start our young girls at an early age being organized, being critical thinkers, having a strategic mindset. You need to learn how to teach them how to do that from the time that they understand. And if they show signs of entrepreneurship and those creative type tendencies, please get them into a program that will utilize that and emphasize that. You really need to do that. So that's at a very young age. When you and I had some ages: 8 years old, 13 years old, 16, 18, and on up. We have different stages in our maturity. You got to handle that stuff as we go along, and don't overlook it. I think I put a post out. I think it said something like, ladies, there's just some classes you cannot skip. There's just some parts of life that you cannot skip over. And we as young women, we need to understand each season of our lives. I mean, truly understand what goes on with our bodies. And I mean, have a realistic understanding, not from some crazy stuff that they might hear out on the street. They need to know what the for real information is about certain things. And you need to know the for real information before you can disseminate it to them. If you can't do it, then you need to get a professional to do it, so that these children don't get all this crazy kind of information from their friends that they don't know what they're talking about either. That's how we get mixed up children. Confusion. I'm not going to have now. Well, let me move on. So, and then you talk about a lot of other things that go into play. You got a lot of hormonal shifts that go on in your life. As women, that's just the way we were made. We have hormones. Men have hormones too. Ours operate a little bit differently, excuse me. And so we need to deal with that. We need to understand it and how it works, and know when things show up, what it is. It's not some weird, it's not brain science. We need to understand our bodies and then know who we are and what we were made to do, what we created to do, and what we are supposed to be doing at certain times of our lives as young women. There's certain things you don't need to be doing. If you're exposing yourself to some stuff that you don't need to be exposing yourself to, stop it. That's why later on in life you got all these other problems, physically and mentally and spiritually. That's a whole nother live broadcast. Let me know who you are. I'm talking about time to unpack, and I'm going to be wrapping it up pretty soon. However, I'm going to talk a little bit about the perfectionist syndrome. A lot of us, want to be so perfect, but we're not. Okay? And we need to, okay, I'm a very detailed person, and most driven people are very detail orientated. However, trying to be perfect all the time it'll wear you out. It'll wear you out. And I believe in being detailed and putting things in the proper places, but you don't always have to be like that. Give it a break sometime. You know what I mean? Every situation does not require perfection the way that we think it should be. And then the other thing is get some sleep, get some rest. 9 times out of 10, if you're not getting enough sleep, you got too much stuff that you have not prioritized and unpacked and written off. Some stuff you need to write off yeah, you need to write it on off. Get rid of it. So listen, time to unpack. It is time, ladies, that we understand why we need to unpack situations in our lives, and then we just need to do it. We just need to do it. Now, just to recap, number 1, give yourself permission to unpack. Number 2, assess where to start. Number 3, be realistic about it with yourself and with others. Number 4, learn how to say no, number 1, to yourself. Okay? Now, if you missed the live, you missed an opportunity to talk back at me, but you can write comments in the comment portion of the live broadcast. Please like it. If you like it, don't lie to me. Comment and share. There is someone, don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. Don't hold on to me just by yourself. Share it with other people, okay? Because there's other people that need to hear this, okay? There really is. And so I appreciate you coming on. I hope that I've said something that will help you this evening. I'm going on 26 minutes now. I want to keep it at 30 minutes or less. As I said before, go out and get the book, buy and get it for somebody else. Get it for yourself and then get it for someone else. You can go out on the Facebook page, Women of Destiny, Daughters of Zion. It's a short read, but it's a powerful read. It will encourage you in whatever area that you're trying to accomplish. This shows us today, women, that God has had us on his mind way before we ever realized it. Okay, Daughters of Zion, arise. So yeah, and go back and look at the replay, and go back and look at the other 2 that I've done. Time to unpack. Listen, this has been an honor. It's always an honor and a privilege to go before people and to try to communicate whatever wisdom God has given me, in my life. I'm doing a 7 CD series now, Dr. Pat Francis, and she's talking about several different things, but there's some key things that she's talking about. Number 1, wisdom. Number 2, knowledge. Number 3, understanding. And number 4, discernment. And I have found it to be those 4 things right there, that if you can get those 4 things in perspective, you will be far, far, far ahead of the game. So listen, 28 minutes and I'm out of here. This is J. Parks, Janice L. Parks, business consultant, coach, empowerment speaker, and author. If you'd like to invite me to your event, I would love to come. Go out on my VC site or inbox me. My email address is jparks59bigboss@gmail.com. Or, you can always also inbox me here or send me a comment that you want to connect for business purposes or for events. I do several different types of events, empowerment events. I come in for church events, just a plethora of things that I could really hopefully help you with. So listen, hey, it's been real. I hope you've been blessed by what I talked about tonight. And go back and share it. All right. So good Wednesday evening to you. Have a wonderful evening. And I'm going to be wrapping up this series. I'm going to be taking some time to unpack myself. Going on vacation soon, my husband and I, and just doing some things that I need to do to refresh and regroup and recenter. So good night.